Hello YouTube, world of the internet, Simon Miller here. Sorry for the delay starting the stream. Was meant to be 1 p.m. We are 3 minutes late, mostly because I was trying to get the images, as last time. I thought it was a nice way to break up the video just by having like some 10 images to go in there, but it's just not happening. Streamlabs does not want it. It will not accept it. I was like, look, it doesn't matter. This is about information, and it's about chatting to you about fitness and muscles and the gym and whatever else you wanna call it. So I thought, screw that. We will just we'll just get on with it. There's no point standing on ceremony anymore, Mr. Wayne. But thank you very much for joining me. Like I said, I've been thinking for ages, how can I best get, because basically I get a lot of tweets and a lot of messages saying, Mel, we want you to do more fitness stuff. And as I said, the year of 2020 is about trying to give people more of what they want. So I don't like showing out my workouts because the comments are just, I'm involved in a lot of cool stuff like wrestling, football, and loads of other stuff. But the gym bros of the world, for whatever reason, they get to me more than anyone. So I was like, screw it. We'll put it in list form, and I can just pass on the information that I know to you. You're allowed to take that as much as you want. You're allowed to ignore it entirely. I don't have any qualifications in this. I've almost been doing it for 20 years. I'm very, very passionate about it, and I've found things that work for me. And as I will say with all of these videos, make sure that when you incorporate it into your workout plan, that you make sure it works for you. So if you have some niggles or you have some injuries or you know that something is going to affect you, just don't do it. Like, there is the thing that you should take away from all of this is that there is no rule of thumb. Other than training really hard, making sure your diet is on point, everything else is kind of up to you to try and figure out. And unfortunately, as it sucks to hear, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I started training when I was 16. I didn't really see any notables of distance until I was 23. That is a long ass time. And obviously I started training quite young, but still, that's not the point. So today, usually in the future, when I say these things, magical pictures will come up on the screen, but Streamlabs ain't having it today, even though the pictures are just on the desktop. We're doing it as a live stream, so you can interact with me, you can ask questions, you can do that just by dropping a line in the comments, or yes, if you want to support this financially, you can also do it in the super chat, just being as transparent and honest as we can. So, these are in a top 10 list. I wouldn't necessarily say they are least important to most important because some exercises aren't even in here. But I will say, looking at this now, the top 3 are essential. But we'll go through them and I'll explain it while they're here. So number 10 is your incline press. If you don't know what an incline press is, you can obviously Google it. But it's basically, we can talk about bench press or we can talk about a dumbbell press, whatever you want. It's when you sit on an incline bench. So it's going, I can't do it with my hands like that. Doesn't work at all. I'm going to turn this up actually. I've just realized. Let's turn that up. Turn the volume up a little bit. Yeah, so you'll be sitting like that. And, you take a bar or you take some dumbbells and you push up. You will be working your chest. Now, the reason I throw it in there is because I understand that people love to work their chest. Like, Chest Mondays is the is the stereotype. And I get it, right? Everybody wants a big chest. Everybody wants to be able to do the pec dance. Everybody wants to bench a lot of weight. As we said in the last video we did, and please do check that out. Don't go into a gym and just try and smash out 1 rep maxes all the time. You're just going to injure yourself. It's not worth it. But the reason I would, because I imagine what a lot of people do, I assume, I don't know. But I think a lot of people, when they go in the gym, is they assume flat bench press is really important, which it is. But if you're negating the incline press, you're not going to see the full development of your chest as you want to. And I would actually sometimes, to change things up, start with the incline press. Because obviously you're going to hit the top of your chest, the upper part, whatever you want to call it. I'm not getting into the scientific things here. But you will also hit the middle of your chest. You will. So you're going to get a full chest workout as opposed to your flat bench, which is kind of going to, sort of hit the middle. So 100% make sure you're doing incline presses. You don't have to go crazy with weight. Make sure you concentrate on form. For all of these exercises, negative reps are the best thing you can ever incorporate into your life. So, if you're going for 10 to 12 reps and you're getting, you should do it for all of them. But my point is, if you're smashing out, say, 12 reps with, 25K dumbbells, try doing the same thing, but on the way down, really slowly, just feel, I don't mind if you smash it back up, but when you're coming down, really, really focus on that negative rep. And I promise you, not only will you get a better workout, not only will you see better development, but it will be harder. And, one video we'll do on progressive overload, which is essentially just do more than you did last week, be that with weights or reps. And a great way to do that is just to all of a sudden incorporate a negative rep into proceeding. So number 10 is the incline press. Do it with a barbell. Do it with some dumbbells. If you are a more experienced trainer, and you haven't done it so far, I would honestly try giving it a go, starting your pec and chest workouts off with an incline press. I think you'll absolutely smash it. Number 9 is lunges. We're going to talk about legs when we get to the more obvious ones. But the reason that nobody does lunges is because they suck. Nobody likes lunges at all. People hate them. Absolutely hate them. They think that, and I tell you why they hate them, because they're awful to do. I don't like doing them. But when I incorporated them into my routine, it was hard to argue against their beneficial nature. So basically, when I was training to my bodybuilding competition a couple of years ago, we'll do a video on that as well. I got a trainer because I think you absolutely need a trainer to. I just don't think you can be critical of yourself when you're trying to enter an aesthetic competition. So he said to me, he gave me the leg routine, and one of the things he gave me was 4 sets of lunges. It was 40 reps per set, and so you basically you took a couple of dumbbells, whatever you thought you could do. And unless you've got a massive gym, you walked all the way over to the gym, 20 reps, and then you walked all the way back, 20 reps. The first time I did that, I was training with my man, Tom Ransom, who may be watching this, good guy. I was training with him, and even he looked at me as like, what the hell are you doing? You absolute buffoon. I was sweating, I was in pain, but the more and more I did it, the better I got, the more weight I could lift. And I saw not say incredible, that's a bit much, but I certainly saw massive development in my legs, in my quads and my hamstrings. So just make sure you're doing lunges. And I'm not saying that you have to hold 250s in your hands, but I'm saying grab 2 dumbbells, even if they're 10 kilograms, or kettlebells, whatever you want, and do 20 lunges, 20 steps, whatever you want to call it, to the end of the gym. Turn around and do 20 back. Doesn't matter if you only get to 16, or I should say 36. Doesn't matter if you get to 36 or 32 or whatever, and you hit failure. That's okay. It's your legs. Your legs can take a pounding. But I tell you, doing that walk, I used to dread them. I remember I used to sit there going, how can I get out of doing lunges? Even though I could have just not done them, but I know how important they were. So absolutely incorporate them. We are going to talk about the more obvious stuff like bench press, squat, and deadlifts, but most people do them already, but it's always good to have a discussion. But things like incline press and lunges, you don't really see that much. So I'm telling you, if you're doing what you think is the max on your legs, but you're not, you feel like you need more, do that. 4 sets of lunges, 40 reps each. You'll be dead at the end of it. Like, you'll be dead, and you'll hate yourself, and you'll hate me, and that's fair. I hated the person that gave it to me too, but it worked. Number 8 is Romanian deadlifts. Another thing that people just don't like to do, and I understand because it sucks. The reason you should be doing Romanian deadlifts is because an area of the legs that we all negate is the hamstring. I'll tell you why, because hamstring is not a cool muscle to look at. Now, you don't actually, look, if you're just going to the gym casually, you don't have to overly worry about your hamstrings at all. But if you want a solid base and you want to try and make sure you're increasing your total muscle mass, then you absolutely need to focus on all your legs, be that calves, hamstrings, quads, glutes, if you want to include that in your legs. And Romanian deadlifts essentially is the same as a normal deadlift, which again is on the list. But it's really difficult to explain. This is why I wanted pictures, but hey ho, screw you, Streamlabs. You basically just stick your ass out as you're coming down with the bar. You keep your legs as straight as you can so that when you're standing back up, you're engaging your hamstrings. Now, again, I don't think you should be putting the same weight on the bar as you would do a normal deadlift. That would be crazy. I mean, if one day you can get to that weight, hooray, you've got amazing hamstrings and you should probably enter some powerlifting and strength competitions. But it just puts the hamstrings in a position where they're primed to grow, because it's not really a move that you do in your daily life. Like, it's the equivalent of kinda bending over and touching your feet, but because you've got like a 20 kilogram barbell and you've got some weights on the end of it too, again, you're just putting the hamstrings under the pressure they need to actually activate and actually grow. And they're like lunges. That's why I hate leg day. I've got to do that and then lunges. And I'm like, I don't want to do these things, but they work and they're incredible. And the good thing about 2020 is that even if I'm saying things here you don't understand, you can Google it and you'll have that down in about 10 seconds. So definitely incorporate Romanian deadlifts into your plan. I would suggest you probably do them after squats and leg press. Otherwise, you may knacker yourself out. But again, you may find that you actually benefit from doing them first. I mean, my basic plan, I kind of push legs pressed back towards the end of my session. And after I've done squats, I'll do Romanian deadlifts. But throw them in there. If you've never heard of them, awesome. You've just got a brand new exercise that's going to kill you. Number 7 is some kind of row. I don't really mind what you want to do. You can do barbell row, dumbbell row, machine row is good. You can even sort of get the triangle accessory, triangle handle, whatever you want to call it, triangle pulley, and put it on the lat pulled machine and kind of do a row that way. But, rows are essential for building your back up and making sure you get that nice wide V shape. Not as important as something else on this list that we've got in 2. But yeah, you absolutely have to be doing some kind of row. Even if you want to do T-bar rows. It's difficult to do T-bar rows because not every gym has the equipment. But, that's kind of a nice way to do a row that you can, build up to it. Someone says, wouldn't Romanian deadlifts put strain on your lower back? Yes, of course. But that's why you need to concentrate on your form. And really, when you first start doing them, do it with just the bar. Like, no, if you do any of these correctly, they won't be putting any strain on any muscles that they shouldn't do. And if they are, maybe you've got a bad back. So just don't do them. That's the key to all of these videos that I'm saying is that, there is no right or wrong. Only you can determine that. So if you feel that way, just don't do them. But I promise you, if you can do them, you will benefit. But yeah, going back to the rows, it's just, try and find any kind of plan that doesn't have them in. And it's just because that motion, even if you do it on the machine rows are really good. I do them sometimes, or single arm rows, whatever. It's a great way to, I wouldn't necessarily start off a routine with that unless you were going to do barbell rows. I think you could start, because obviously, you just got to, it's just a bigger movement. But if you're going to do dumbbell rows later in a session, it's just a great way to absolutely exhaust your back and finish it off. And if you do them for, I don't know, depends on your body, but if you do them for a few months, I guarantee that you'll see some good development. And when you kind of go into the mirror and walk around with wide lat syndrome, as so many people do, you'll feel proud of yourself. I guarantee it. Number 6, is dips, and this also ties into number 5, which is pull-ups. But we'll start with dips. Always do bodyweight exercises when you can, especially pull-ups. If you want a big back and you want that big V taper, you have to be doing pull-ups. And again, I know they suck. I know they're no fun, but you just, even if you can only do one now, great, do one. And then give yourself however much rest time you need to do another one. Or use your, what do you call it? I can't remember the word. Like an assisted machine where you put your knees on a pad. You know what I mean? It will help you out. Whatever you need to do, even if you can't do one pull-up, use that. Use the assisted machine and just do 8 to 12. And make sure you're doing that, for 4 sets a couple of times a week. And then eventually get rid of that and try and do 3 by yourself. Then try and do 4. It is, it's just, I tell you, man, it's the same with dips too. Dips probably aren't as essential as pull-ups, but you should still do them. Because when you get that movement down and when you feel more confident and you can put a weight belt on and attach a 20 plate or whatever, 10, whatever you fancy, you're not only going to hit your triceps, you're going to hit your chest with your back, you're hitting your bicep, you're hitting your lats. Yeah, you may get some other stuff in there as well. They are just all-encompassing exercises that are not only going to help with other compound movements, but because they're basically using your own body weight, you're just gonna have a stronger core, and you're just gonna be stronger all around. And I know some people really don't like dips, or pull-ups, but I can't stress enough how good they are. They're really, really good. Because with pull-ups now, what I do is, on the last one, I just let myself hang. It's a CrossFit technique. I let myself hang, and then you kind of just flex your lats, drop your shoulders, and you just hang there for as long as you can, hit the table. Not only is that great for grip strength, but it really, really, really finishes off your back. And you can even start with pull-ups if you want. I find them, I just love them. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say I like doing them, but I love the results I get. Shout out to Jeffrey W. in the super chat. Hey, man, I said you could ask whatever you want. What are your thoughts on PEDs asking for a mate? You can't say that. Look, I don't care if anybody wants to do PEDs. It's none of my business. To me, I see it like someone does marijuana. If you want to smoke marijuana, who am I to tell you otherwise? I personally do not do PEDs, but I have the John Cena response to this, is that I've told people that for years, and people just go, well, he's lying. What have I got to lie about? I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not in professional competition. If anything, if I was on them, I'd rather make videos about them because they do crazy views. That's the truth. But if you want to do them, of course they're going to help you. That's what they're performance enhancing. But my biggest piece of advice would be just make sure you're monitoring yourself. Do blood work. See how you feel. Don't listen to the nonsense that's on the internet. Like, absolutely, just educate yourself before you do them, because they can go drastically wrong. But sure, if you can find what works for your body and your physical makeup, then they're brilliant. Like, if I knew that I could, get a doctor to check me every single day, then I'd probably consider them. But I can't do that. It's not worth the risk, and I don't want to go down that road. But I'm a proper, not intentionally, but I'm a proper straight edge guy. Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. That's just my nature. That's just the way I want to live. But if you want to do them, I just would say educate yourself. There's loads of videos on the internet, loads of videos on YouTube that can help you out. but just be smart. But it's none of my business. It's none of my business. If you want to do them, great. If you don't want to do it, great. So it's up to you. Number 4 is military presses / shoulder raises, whichever one you want to do. They're just going to smash your deltoids. Like you make sure you're working on your rear delts as well and your rear laterals. Everybody ignores them. Even if you're just going to, you do lateral raises, right? When you go like that, even if you're just going to bend over 90 degrees and do rear laterals, make sure you do that. Because not only is it going to help your deltoids overall, it's going to help your traps, it's going to help your back, it's going to help you lift more. So someone has just said any good exercise for building shoulder deltoids. I mean, look, lateral raises, absolutely. Bent over lateral raises to work your rear ones, absolutely. And the military press shoulder raise, which is literally where you hold a bar or a dumbbell and you push up. That's your basic compound movement, right, for shoulders. So you've got to be including them. And it's kind of cool, right? I mean, that's why when we get to number 1, it's the coolest move. The coolest thing about military press is shoulder press is you just lift in. Get the weight here, push. And if you're not good at getting the weight up to here, you can use it on a Smith machine or on a squat rack. You can just put the bar up there and you can hoist it off high and then you can just push from there. You can even do push presses should you so wish. There's loads of different ways to do it depending on what you want to do. So, yeah, make sure you're doing your military presses, shoulder presses. Make sure you're doing your lateral raises. Make sure you're doing your front raises. Make sure you're doing your traps. All of it. Like the shoulder is a bizarrely complicated joint. So the more you can build it and the more you can kind of protect it, the better you're going to be, especially if you want to be a wrestler. Number 3 is everybody's favorite, the bench press. Yes, you do need to do it if you want to build a bigger chest. I mean, I wouldn't call it essential, but if you're first starting out, you're going to want to do it. I don't do it anymore just because I've got numerous aches and pains from lifting for ages and then deciding to get into wrestling. But I think that the 3 we're about to talk about are all important when you first start lifting because they will help you build a base. And there's this idea in bodybuilding, fitness, gym, talk, whatever, that once you've built your base, you can be a little bit smarter with it. Like I've seen interviews with The Rock where he says he doesn't deadlift or squat anymore because he doesn't need to, it hurts his joints, but he's built his base so he can focus more on isolation exercises. But I get this is people that want to build muscle. If you're able to rack up the bench, not too high, find your own weight, and you're able to get some good solid reps, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do if you want. I don't think it's massively important to go right down to your chest. I think if you go 90 degrees with your arms, you're still working your chest muscles without activating your shoulders too much. But you do you. If it doesn't hurt and you think you are benefiting from it, then do it. And that's the case with all of these. Even if you really don't want to do pull-ups, that's okay. There are alternatives you can do. Even if you do lat pull-downs. Pull-ups are far better than lat pull-downs because you're using your own body weight. But, yeah, like someone just said, what if a person messed up their wrist skating and now push-ups are almost impossible? Well, firstly, I think you probably need to, if it's that bad, definitely go get help and rest. But there are workarounds, right? You can just use machines. Like, machine chest press is not as good as a bench press because free weights will activate stabilizer muscles. And when you build up stabilizer muscles, you're able to lift more weight because you just have you have a bigger foundation to lift. But it doesn't matter. Even if you're going and you're just doing machine press and you're just doing, cable flies, that's fine. You're still activating your chest muscles. And it's about intensity, really. But these are good exercises that are going to put your body under the strain and the stress you want to break the muscle down and then grow, which is why number 2 is squats. Same thing. The best thing about squats is not only do they pretty much work everything on your body because you're just putting a weight on your back and dipping down to the floor, but they also boost testosterone, or so it is said, I guess because of the way your body reacts to them. I don't like squats. I don't do squats now as much as I used to, again, because my joints aren't what they used to, but once were. But even if I take down the weight, I still do them. And I did this years ago. It was probably like 2014, 15. I realized that while I was being an idiot, while I was loading up the bar, my squats sucked. I was getting no depth. You got to get depth when you do squat. Don't worry if you don't go all the way down. This is why I can't stand putting footage on the internet. But you won't go all the way down. Someone go, it was a rubbish squat. No, it's not. Maybe that's how you squat. But the key is sacrifice weight to make sure you get depth. Depth is more important than weight, 100%. And I promise you, your legs will grow bigger if you cut your weight by 50%, but you are really, really pushing your ass as far to the ground as you can. Plus, it's just harder. When you get to that point where you're below parallel and you kind of have to push through your calves, you activate every single muscle, not only in your legs, but your upper body kicks in a little bit too. So as much as you hate leg day, when you're doing squats, you can kinda, not really, but kinda also be having an upper body day as well. So absolutely make sure you do that. And that ties into number 1 as well, which is the deadlift. The deadlift was always my favorite exercise. It still is my favorite exercise. Once again, the proper form with the deadlift will see you push through your calves. And that means, so as soon as you instigate that, you're working everything from your calves all the way up to your, upper back-ish. It is, I would call it essential when you first start working out. And of course, it's going to work your back, but it works your legs. Your biceps will get a bit of a kicking. Your triceps and chest won't do much, but it will work your core. But the point of it all, same with squats, is you can then take everything that you've developed there to be able to lift more on shoulders, triceps, biceps, back, pecs, legs. It's a one-stop shop for ensuring that you're progressing in the gym. And look, there's other stuff you can absolutely do. People always want to know about biceps and tricep stuff. Yeah, of course you can do that stuff. Throw it in after a back workout or a chest workout, or do it vice versa to give yourself a bit of a change. But there are plenty of workouts out there that say if you work your back hard enough, you will smash your biceps enough. And no one does that because people love working arms. But yeah, I would say you throw those 10 into your program at some point and you do them with the intensity that they deserve, and you make sure you're doing sets. You will, and you can muck around with it too. Like something cool I used to do with squats is some days I would do heavy squats, but rather than do say 8 to 10 reps, I would do say 5 reps, but I'd only give myself minute breaks. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 60 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 60 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 60 seconds, 1, 2, 5, 60 seconds. And I kind of felt like, because that was so different to doing what I was doing before, my body responded to it. It's like, what the hell are you doing? So it's all about these little tricks that you can do. You just never want to hit a plateau, and it's really easy to hit a plateau in the gym, especially if your diet and supplementation isn't on point. Someone says, which muscles exercises will help me execute the most devastating move of all, a wrestling surprise roll-up? Well, that'd be your shoulders and your legs, really. So yeah, I want to do military presses and squats, and then you can hold them down. Someone says, is it okay for beginners to take creatine? Yes. We'll do supplements soon too. Yeah, creatine is just, all creatine is going to do is increase your ATP levels, which means you'll be able to go a little bit longer and you'll be able to lift a little bit more. It's not a miracle drug. I think it's approved by the FDA now. You have to see how you respond to it, and your body will hold on to a little bit of water because that's a side effect of creatine. But yeah, you will be a little bit faster, a little bit stronger. But start with a small dose. Maybe, I think most people take 5 grams a day. So maybe try 2-3 grams a day. As long as you're all right with it, just take 5 grams a day. It's not the miracle drug that some people make it out to be. It will just give you an edge. And when it comes to bodybuilding and lifting weights, having that edge can be massively important because, again, your body gets used to things so quickly. So we'll do supplements soon. But I would absolutely be an advocate for creatine. But it may bloat you. That's the thing. Some people get bloated off creatine, so you need to do that. So, yeah, they are my 10. Again, don't be afraid to add them in or take them out if you're really not enjoying them, or they're just not working for you, or they're hurting. Never hurt. Always, I'm going to end all videos like this. Always make sure you are enjoying the gym. That is key. If you're not, go and find something else. Don't put yourself through it just because you think you should. It doesn't make you cool. It doesn't make you a badass. Simultaneously, just because I enjoy the gym doesn't make me cool, doesn't make me a badass. It's just a hobby. It's just something to do. It clears my brain. When I'm in the gym, I can just be completely problem-free, and I think that's important. Let me know in the comments below what you want us to do next. We've done food. We've done tips to avoid when building muscle. We can do supplements. We can do cardio. We can do fat loss. We can do whatever you want. I'm going to go based on what people ask me to do. But in the meantime, if you haven't hit subscribe, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, share the video. 5 dislikes for some reason. No idea why. Pretty straightforward what this video was, but hey, that's YouTube for you. And look, there'll be a video online later, and we will do another fitness video next week unless there's an overwhelming demand for something else. But thank you for joining me. I hope this helps. If not, I'll do better next time. I will talk to you soon.